To my attention. His uncle and aunt have described to me over the phone that he has been seeing clowns and is in fear of his life. Jim is a 21-year-old male that currently lives alone with frequent visits from his aunt and uncle. He rarely goes out and has been described by his aunt as barely having any friends. For later reference, I videotaped the encounter to observe his behavior. In this clip, I asked Jim about his personal life and what he does for fun in his spare time. To my attention. His uncle and aunt have described to me over the phone that he has been seeing clowns and is in fear of his life. Jim is a 21-year-old male that currently lives alone with frequent visits from his aunt and uncle. He rarely goes out and has been described by his aunt as barely having any friends. For later reference, I videotaped the encounter to observe his behavior. In this clip, I asked Jim about his personal life and what he does for fun in his spare time.
Hi Jim, how are you doing today? I hope you feel comfortable in my office. How are you feeling today? Well, I've been feeling fine, just tired and all, but I gotta pay the bills somehow. Aside from work, what do you usually do in your spare time? I don't really do anything. I just go to work, come home, and go to bed. Don't really have anything else to do. I don't like going out, and I don't really have many friends.
Jim lives an average life with little immediate responsibilities besides work and providing himself with a little essential material to survive. Jim paused when asked about his life and looked off into the corner. This was peculiar, and I brought it up later in our session. In the next clip I'm about to show you, I asked about his family life.
So Jim, what's your family life like? Well, my uncle and aunt have been a big part of my life since my parents' accident. They've been constantly in and out of my apartment, and it's super annoying, but I guess I have to deal with it somehow. I have to get human contacts in somewhere. Can I ask you a quick question? Yeah, what's your question? I notice that you keep looking off into the corner. Is there something that you're seeing or want to tell me? No. You wouldn't even understand. Well, you know I'm always here to help you out. That's why I'm here. If I tell you, they'll kill me. Who will kill you? The clowns that killed my parents. There's nothing to be afraid of, Jim. There's nothing in here that can hurt you at all. All there is just you and... Ah! Oh my God!
Complete my session with Jim. He stated that his safety had been compromised and proceeded to leave my office in a panic-like state. Upon further research and questions with his uncle and aunt, I discovered that Jim had been in the back seat of the car when it crashed. Jim also neglected to state that the crash involved a clown cart. I believe that this sparked his initial fear of the clowns in his paranoid state. Knowing that the clowns took his parents' life, he may be having hallucinations of clowns wanting to kill him because he believes that the clowns that took his parents' life may be coming back for him. Jim was brought to me because his increasingly unpredictable and frantic behavior has been frightening his aunt and uncle. They hope to better understand what was wrong with him and decide if he needs extensive care and proper hands. His aunt and uncle have presented key details stating that he proclaims that he is seeing clowns all over and to his understanding want to harm him. This makes him feel uncomfortable and provoking irrational behavior. The client struggles to go out of his home and only does so to make money to pay his bills. As I understand, Jim currently works as a photographer and only goes out to meet his clients and then comes home immediately to be in solitude. He struggles to get out of bed and his business is failing because he is afraid to go outside and drive. It appears to me that Jim is suffering from paranoid schizophrenia. He has been exhibiting antisocial behavior and appears to enjoy being by himself. He also exhibits positive symptoms such as hallucinations with his belief that he is seeing clowns that want to hurt him severely. I will need to have a medical background check on Jim to see if he has any history of schizophrenia in his family that might entitle him to have the gene. If Jim has paranoid schizophrenia, I believe the disorder must have started revealing itself shortly after the accident. The accident must have been the stressor in his life. The stress of losing his parents must have been traumatic enough to provoke his schizophrenia-like symptoms. The involvement of the clowns must be a coping method he adapted after his parents' death, putting the blame on them. With a concentrated thought on the clowns, it formed what we see today as his deadly clown hallucinations. It took a long period for him to acknowledge the existence of the hallucinations because he had built up anger towards them and vented his anger in solitude. Different treatment options that will be tested over the next few months. I have recommended to his doctor prescribing him with 500 milligrams of Clozaril. It has been tested in many studies and has proven to improve patients coping with breaks in reality and hallucinations. Side effects include loss in white blood cells, so he will need to have regular visits to his doctor. This will work to his benefit because he will be required to leave his house on a consistent basis, giving him time to cope and prepare to leave. My second method of treatment would be to have him gradually get in contact with clowns over our time together to ease his fear. This will ensure that if he has a hallucination, he will be able to handle it more confidently, thus drastically reducing unpredictable behavior and helping him in his long run dealing with his hallucinations and this disorder.